I call this meeting the order of the Lincoln County Board of Education, meeting on Tuesday, February the 6th. It's 6 p.m. and we're at the county office. At this time, I want to welcome our new board member, Donna Martin, and ask her to lead us in the pledge.
Certainly be glad to do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Donna. We had the swearing in ceremony for Ms. Martin a little while ago. Would you like to say anything?
Well, I'd like to say that it feels like coming home, temporarily, of course.
No.
But I just want to say that I did not seek this office. First, I want to tell you that I was asked, and I did agree to do this. I have great experiences in the school system as far as I'm concerned. And I want to work with the board and the administration, all the schools, everybody concerned, so that we can go ahead and do some great work in the school system and fulfill the operation and the laws of the schools. So, thank you, David.
No public comment, I'm assuming. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Frank Barnett, talking about the county logo.
Well, it just so happened the young lady, the winning design, just walked into the room here. Several months ago, when I first started back in August, Austin and I were talking together, and we were just talking about, wouldn't it be neat to have a nice, crisp, clean new logo? So I thought, coming as an old CTE director, I thought it'd be neat to offer that up to all of our school CTE programs. So I contacted every principal and said that, we went around to the CTE teachers and said, we'd like to have a logo design. When it's student input, have them come out here and design a good logo for us. So we had 9 entries, and I got with Cody back there, and I had Cody put it out on our website so that the people of the community, people of Lincoln County, could vote on it. And much to my surprise, I had over 1,800 hits on that site. 1,800 people voted on these logos. So, and the winning logo went to a student at Lincoln County High School. Her name is Jalen Gibson. Jalen's with us this evening, and she designed a beautiful logo. I gave a copy of it out there last week. It'll be our logo starting July 1. It'll be on all of our official notifications, all of our gear, anything that we have that'll on our letterhead will be the logo that she designed, and she did a wonderful job on it. I can't say enough. I came from a career center in Huntington, had a graphic design program that was second to none, and I would put her up against any student that was in that program. She really did a great job. She's a fair volleyball player. So I've watched, can't say I've watched her grow up because as short as I am, I watch everybody grow up. So, but she's done a great job over the past 4 years on the volleyball court, and she did a phenomenal job on this logo. So I have a presentation to make to her. In addition, before his departure, Mr. Pastori said, well, I think that's a great idea. And he said, I'm going to offer up $100 prize to the winner. So Jalen is a recipient of a $100 prize for her design as well. So Jalen, you can step forward.
She's copyrighted.
Okay. So Jalen, I want to copy this certificate. As you see, the background is a watermark of your logo. So hit that, and in that envelope's a little something for you there. So congratulations, dear. You did a great job. So. Mindy, you need to be proud. She did
Congratulations,
Great,
Jalen.
great job.
Are you a senior?
Yes.
What's your plans after high school, if I can ask?
I like the design thing a little bit, but I was gonna go into marketing.
And my dad just happens to know a few people that I could get into realty right after high school and like into that, or I was gonna work at a car dealership and help with car sales.
Well, just an FYI, Jalen, I was also a licensed realtor. So, that's a good field to get into, and you would be successful at it.
Very proud of
Congratulations to
you.
you. Best of
Very
luck.
proud of you.
If this board could help you in any way, feel free to call us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Mom,
you very
you got a
much.
good girl. You got a good girl.
All right, with that, we have the last, I believe, of our LSIC reports. That's Principal Kim Blair from Harts. So Principal Blair, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right, good evening. As you said, I'm the principal at Harts Pre-K 8. My assistant principal is Kim Cooper. She's here tonight. And we had a template to go by, so I'm just going to read off that. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me and ask me. The number of professional staff at Harts is 32 full-time, plus we have 3.5, we have 3 half-times. Our art, special education, and our social worker is split with other schools. We have 16 support staff, 4 Apple certified teachers. The grade breakdown is there, as you can see it. Our low SES is 70%. Special education is 17.63%. Students qualified as homeless, which, as you know, that could be just doubled up. They're not necessarily homeless, is 27.39%. We've had 18 suspensions this year. Discipline referrals, 94, no expulsions, and all that data, I collected it a couple of weeks ago in preparation. So it was collected on January the 20th. Some strategies that we use to improve test scores. We use Ashlock intervention groups, which we've seen tremendous growth from. We've used Ashlock for years, but the intervention groups we really dove into last year with the help of Sarah Dunlap, Lisa Heineman, and Joni, and Dion. So they really helped with us to get those groups going. And like I said, we've had tremendous results. Ready intervention groups, Ready skills, and what I mean by that are just our Ready lessons. We have our after school program that we have a grant for. We have summer program, enrichment programs, test talks, goal setting, parent involvement, attendance monitoring, administration walkthroughs, and stakeholder input. And those are all strategies that I believe help test scores.
What do you do, Kim, whenever you do your test talk?
So test talks is our baby. I'm glad you asked. So what? Yes, well, it is something that I take truly a lot of pride in. So we have a notebook or notebooks, and it has each grade level, and we really focus on 3 through 8 because they take the general summative assessment. So in our notebook, it has every student, and we have their scores from the GSA from the first year they've taken it. So 8th graders, their GSA score goes back all the way back. iReady, all their benchmarks are in there from the GSA benchmark as well. So we go talk with students, and we'll say maybe, last year you had you dipped in math. So for example, like this last year, I had this young man that in 6th grade, his math score was really high. 7th grade, it was low. And so something happened there. What happened? So we looked at where he was low at. We had those conversations. We looked at his iReady. Was it that he just didn't try? Is he having problems with geometry? And we had those conversations with kids quite frequently. We try to have them as often as possible. And we really know our data. So if you were to talk to us and you would bring up a kid's name, I could almost guarantee between the two of us, we can tell you where they're at, where they score, what they need. I mean, we know our kids, and I take pride in that. But we have those conversations quite often, and I believe that it is our test scores have raised, and I believe that's one of the reasons why, because the kids know that we care and we've built those relationships and we truly look at the information. Because if we're just taking tests for the sake of taking tests, there's no point. Like, let's just throw it to the side if you're not going to look at the data. Yeah, and that's something that which I get into later, but at Hearts, I'm from Hearts. I love Hearts. It's my passion, is my community and this county. But and Kim's been teaching as long as I have. We've both been doing this for 18 years, but she drives from Barbersville every day. We love our community and our kids, and we build relationships, and it truly, like we always say, it's a family. And I mean that, like, we love our kids, and I truly believe that's how we've made the gains that we've made the last couple of years.
They know it.
I hope so. I hope so. I'll tell you a real quick story, and I know I told Mr. Barnett that I would only be 5 minutes, and then here I am. But I had a group of boys. It was our roughest group, and she knows what group I'm talking about. They're in high school now, and they were the roughest group that we'd had. And we, at the beginning of the year, we got in front of the staff and we said, pick a kid in 8th grade. This is a couple years ago. And we want you to make a relationship, build a relationship with that kid. And the staff did. But we ended up at their little 8th grade ceremony. Like, we cried. Like, I miss those kids so much. But they still come to our school to ball games and stuff, and they'll come and hug us and tell us they love us. And I had promised some of them, I was like, they said, well, you come watch me play football. And I was like, well, yeah, I've not missed the home football game for them. But last year, one of them didn't have a mom to participate in, like, it's football, and I really don't even understand what I did. But it was like a mom and player day, and he asked me to come be his mom. And that's probably one of the most special moments of my teaching career, is like being able to be his mom for a day. So I just want to share that little story. So getting back to this, our goals, there will be a 3% increase in proficiency rate in ELA on the general summative assessment, a 2% in proficiency rate in math, and the reason 2 and 3 you'll see in just a moment, and then to increase student attendance. If you get down to strategic plan, our reading proficiency for 2022-23 was 37%. And we want it to be 100%, but it was an 8% gain from the previous year. And it was the highest since we've been given this particular test. We've been given this test since 2015. So since we've started taking the test, this was, the highest it had ever been. So we're really proud of that. And it was, like I said, and our goal was to raise that 3 more percent. In math, our proficiency rate was 40%, which was a 12% gain from the previous year, and also the highest it has been since we've given the assessment starting in 2015. So our goal was to raise it 2%. Some celebrations this year, test score recognition, we've celebrated those gains because any growth is great, but we feel like we had tremendous growth. One of them I'm very proud of, our 7th grade class. They scored 4th in the entire state in math on the GSA. And this year they have worked hard to maintain that status. So we are tickled with that. We've had celebrations for Gear Up. Our counselor does an amazing job with Gear Up. We have spelling bee winners, math field day winners. We've had attendance incentives. We recognize growth at any level. Some students are never going to exceed standards, but they grow. And so we try to always celebrate all of our students. And we had Leanna Maynard, who came, I think, to the last meeting, and she was recognized for National Board Certification. So we're proud of Miss Leanna. And our overall data from the fall benchmark, the GSA benchmark was taken in October. That was before the end of the 9 weeks. It was a 23 proficiency rate in ELA. And I feel like I need to explain that 40% of our students could not do the writing portion, and the writing portion calculates into their score. And it was because of an issue with the Apple products not being updated, or they were updated too soon. We went ahead and updated ours, and the system wouldn't allow the students to type on it. So, that's going to be some error there on that 23%. And then 16% math. But again, this benchmark is given on that grade level, and they just started that grade. So we have high hopes that that'll raise.
They do that in September and October.
September and October
Yeah.
we do, but now we do it again. We're getting ready to do it again.
Okay.
So that'll give us more of a baseline of where they're at. In our Ready, our first diagnostic was 24% in reading, and the one we just took was 37%, which was a 13% gain. Math, the first one was 12%, and the second one was 25%, which was 11% gain. Our curricular focus, of course, it's reading and math, but our biggest curricular focus is growth. We just want students to grow. Like I said, some students are never going to exceed standards, but they can grow and they can learn and they can do better. In PLCs, teachers discussed their test data, standards, events, and other topics that impact student success. And the leadership team looks over school data, discuss changes that need to be made in discipline and scheduling and various other topics. The culture, we did a survey, and the survey came back with, that everyone felt safe and positive environment, felt that it was a safe and positive environment, student-centered, we had a growth mindset, and we focused on relationships. The next part's needs or additional assistance. What have we asked for that we've gotten? We had asked for a social worker, and thankfully we have a social worker. As you guys know, the community center, we're not allowed to use it anymore because of the structural issues. So we've asked for a outdoor locker room for our softball, baseball, and football teams, and the bids went out, and I think that they're supposed to be back by February 29th. We've asked for funds to continue using iReady, and we have those. We've had the eWalk program and the after-school program. We got a grant for that.
What's the eWalk program?
eWalk is our walkthrough program. So when we do walkthroughs, we can document, the county can see how many walkthroughs we do.
Okay.
We can customize those for our school. And then it also keeps me on track of, I've been to this room 12 times, but I've only been to this room 2 times. So it's a great program. And it also, there's charts that come with it. So I know.
Teachers go in other rooms?
Well, teachers can, but what's great about it is as soon as I'm finished with it, it emails back out to that teacher. So that teacher gets feedback. And teachers always, before, they would get upset. You came to my room and I don't know what kind of feedback, I might write them a note. So this way, like as soon as I leave, I send that email out to them and my assistant principal, and we both are on the same page. Yeah, and then like I said, the county curriculum team can look at those as well. And Mr. Barnett has tasked us with doing 5 of those per week. So, and we try our best to keep up with it, but sometimes it's very hard to do a 5, but we've done well. And then things that need attention. And when I say these things need attention, it says, have you previously asked for it and still needs attention? This is more of a wish list because I can't say I've asked for all these things. So it's not like they've turned me down. But this summer, we would love to have lines painted for parking spots at our football, baseball, softball, soccer field. Because if you've been there, parking's a mess. And a part of that is because we don't have lines. Kim Cooper and I, we directed traffic many times this year. I didn't mind at all, but it'd be a lot easier if we had those lines. We would love to have a softball or baseball field separate from each other. Again, this is a wish list. Bring my staff in. This is something I'd love. Bring my staff in for 1 or 2 days for professional development over the summer. We did that years ago. I don't want to go to retreat. I don't need to go to the Greenbrier, but just so that my staff can come in and we can talk about discipline and things that need to be changed, our vision, because we just don't have time those first 3 days of school. With the Third Grade Success Act, as you guys know, there's a requirement for lots of intervention. For us to do intervention, we need more staff. I know that our county doesn't have money for more staff, but again, a wish list. We have several gravel lots. I'd love to have those paved. New pads for our gym, our backstops in our gym. They're really cheap, the ones the school building authority put in, and they fall daily. We have to get them fixed, so that'd be nice. And update our indoor camera system. It's good, but they're supposed to be, I think we are going to update it. And then like the last page is just everybody that's on the LSIC, you can look over those. But at the bottom is student safety practices, which is probably when I became the principal, that was my most important thing, is to keep our students safe. So we do active threat drills, we do fire drills, we have a crisis plan, we have a great man trap. What? Which one? A man trap. So when you come into our school, you can't get into so you get trapped twice.
Yeah.
You have to be buzzed through 2 times to get into the actual building. So
you have to identify themselves.
So when you come into our door, there's the camera there. You buzz in. One of my secretaries will ask you, what you need. They feel that you should come in. They'll buzz you in once. Then they can see you. They can see you through the camera, but then they can physically see you before they let you in again.
Yeah.
Then you come into the office part, and you can't get anywhere from there either. So until you're buzzed. So you have to be buzzed 3 times to actually get where students are. Yes.
Great.
And we have the swipe system at the doors. Every school in Lincoln County does. one entrance for all guests. So guests aren't allowed to come through anywhere except for the main entrance. And we have camera systems. So that was what Mr. Barnett, the template that he and Mr. Davis had sent. I have listened to all the board meetings, and I know Mr. Bell usually asks questions about iReady. I did include how its parents can understand their iReady scores. This is what we send home. And then I also sent just a sample student, and I blacked out their name, but it does say their name somewhere else, but his mother was fine with me doing this, so, because I'm his mother. But
Well, no, that worked out.
yeah, so it tells you his first test, the second test, but I just wanted you guys to see that it shows you like what grade level they're at. There's different domains, like in math, it tests numbers and operation, algebra, measurement and data, geometry, and then things that you can ask your child. And so there's 2 pages there. That's the family report. And then, like I said, Mr. Bell, I had listened to you many times talk about it. So I'd also included with you a lengthy report that shows exactly what the teachers see. So how they can do next steps and the can-do steps. So that's all in yours. And if you had any questions about it, I wouldn't care to walk you through at any time. I am a huge proponent of iReady, and I've seen the gains at our school. Like I've told people, I've drank the Kool-Aid and I like it.
You know,
I
I'm
just-
asking about.
Hey, I'm ready.
Before we get into that, I'm sure everybody knows that Kim is one of our county commissioners, and she's been doing some great work providing things throughout the community for our youth. If I'm not mistaken, there's a real good chance that you're going to get a facility up there. Is that at the baseball field?
It would be on Lincoln County property at our school, right beside of our school, if that goes through. Yeah,
It's not at the football field,
no, there's no room for it there, unfortunately.
but there's possibility you're going to get something.
There's 2 more commissioners.
I know.
Yeah, so,
Okay. All right. iReady.
okay.
Kim sent me a volume 1, 2, and 3 of videos of iReady. She did it. I guess she was working on a Saturday. I think it was a Saturday I got those. And she took her time to explain iReady to me. I don't have a doubt in my mind that she's one of the most knowledgeable people in the county on iReady. She came up with stuff that I hadn't heard before, and I do appreciate that, Kim.
No
Thank you.
problem.
As you know, I talked to all the principals about iReady, and I believe it's the best diagnostic tool since I've been in education. Now, what bothers me is what do we do with the results?
Mhm.
And I asked all the principals how we could make it better. And I think I've come to the conclusion that we need more time to do the remediation that the iReady tells us that is needed. 1 or 2 of the principals didn't want more time, and some of them did. I keep lobbying for a summer school, not the traditional summer school of bringing people in, but using the iPads and communicating with those K through 3 students
Mhm.
to get that done. Now, I don't know how to do that, but we've had several programs throughout my history with the school system. Butchie mentioned one, I can't remember the name of it, but
Success
for all.
Success
Success for All,
Yeah.
yeah, Success for All. A lot of people was high on Success for All, but Success for All missed 2 components. It missed the component of remediating what we found out about kids learning. They didn't get a chance to make up. We never caught them up.
Mhm.
And then the other component that was missing is doing something about the regression that naturally takes place in the summertime. So you work hard and get them up to where they need to be, and then when they start in the next year, you got to go all over it again. I want you to put your thinking cap on and talk with Mr. Barnett and his staff, how we could provide remediation. We can find out that these kids are in the second grade, but they're reading at kindergarten level or beginning first grade. At the end of the second grade year, they're still not to the second grade level. They're 1.1 or 1.2. We need to tack that skill loss right there. We need to find out what we can do. And the only way I see to do that is more time remediating that. I know you're 315 minutes required by the state. How much time do you have?
We bank 30, the eighth grade, based on the eighth grade, the eighth grade banks 30 extra minutes a day already.
So when you do the remediation for iReady, how do you do it?
Okay,
Teachers have done
so we have so kids do lessons for 45 minutes a week in reading, 45 minutes in math. And that's because it's the sweet spot research has shown through iReady. Like that's what they recommend. That's just them doing lessons. As far as the teacher remediation, it's 40 minutes, 5 days a week. And that's just like how we build our schedule around it.
Built into the daily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and we also have like our Ashlot groups, which is like, that's only in K-3, but that is building on the phonics for the most part. But if I could be so bold as to say that, I understand that we need to catch them up, but I really feel like sometimes we need to be more proactive and think, how did they get behind? And Mr. Barnett, don't kill me, but can I have like 2 minutes?
Go for it.
Okay. So, and my assistant principal's going, oh God, here she goes. So I've been doing this for 18 years. You guys have been doing it, some of you way longer than me. But the best 2 classes I ever had, or the best class I ever had, 5th grade class that year, it was my 3rd year of teaching, highest test scores in the county. I thought I was amazing. 2nd year, took the same test, taught the same way, lowest test scores in the county. What did I do wrong? A couple years later, had this group of kids, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, top test scores, they're great. I look at my kids now. There's 2 groups of kids in our school who have just amazing test scores. Mr. Davis, he could tell you, I'm sure right now, what 2 grades I'm talking about at our school. What do all those kids have in common? That's what I've looked at. They all have parental involvement.
Yes,
If I had a party, parents were there. If a field trip, they were there, with their kids. If open house, they were there. So how do we combat that? And I just feel like if we can get parents on board in kindergarten, 1st grade, if we could have parent events where like we feed them, they come, we have spaghetti dinners, all kinds of people show up, and that we could just sell it to them that if you give us kindergarten, 1st grade, if you will help us, if you will not talk about your teachers, be on our side, be on our team, just live and breathe education for these 2 years. Because if we can get them on level in kindergarten and 1st grade, I truly believe they'll be fine after that, because kindergarten, 1st grade is that foundation. And if we can never get them behind and we can get these parents on board, because I tell parents at open house, and I think Mr. Davis, Mr. Barnett was maybe there, I was like, don't go home and say, I hate math. If you say you hate math, they're going to hate math too. Don't go say you hate your kid's teacher. Keep it to yourself, because we put that stuff in our kids' heads. I've not liked some of my kids' coaches, but I never tell them, because then they're going to buy into that too. So I just feel like if we can find a way, I'm not saying we don't do summer remediation. Remediation is always going to be there, but I really think that we need to put some time and money into truly getting parents on board with education, getting them to buy in, getting them to come out. And I'm not saying volunteer at school. I'm just saying be part of it. Read with them. Just let them know that education is a priority to you, because I have so many parents that it's not an education. They don't care about education anymore. We have some that do, but like those 2 groups that I'm talking about at my school, those kids their parents are all invested in it. And almost every kid in the upper grade plays a sport or is in the band or National Honor Society, they're doing something else. And the research also shows that if you're involved in something and you buy into your school, that you do better too, because, you know, you have that community and they want to work and they want to be at school. Now, that's just my idea. And if I was queen of the world, you know, and I had all this money, but I just want to share that with you
Is
guys.
that 2 minutes, Mr. Barnett?
Okay, maybe it was 4. I don't know.
I'm okay with
I'm a fast talker though.
That's right.
I appreciate it, Kim. I think you're doing a fabulous
Yeah.
job.
Thank you. Thank you guys for your
And I
time.
will tell you that, you know, Mr. Bell, going back to, you talked about iPads earlier, we've got it situated now to where when any of our summer programs, there will be a set here for the students. And we're going to open it up to any parent who wants to come and sign one out at the end of the year. They can keep it for the summer to do activities for them.
Good, good.
Is that going to be enough?
Well, that's a start.
Yeah.
That's that's the hardware piece.
We can't let those kids take those iPads home during the summer and,
They're going to come sign them out.
Yeah,
well, they have to come here, but can they just not keep them from after school?
Well, what we found is that we lose a great deal of
yeah.
them. But if we have, you know, if someone comes and signs, and
They have
often too, parents say, I don't want it at home
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm responsible for it.
Yeah, and they're expensive for
So-
some of those.
Oh, they take them home, not being argumentative here, but they take them home every night now, don't they?
Primary grades do not. A lot of the primary grades do not take them home.
My grandson takes his home.
Some of them do not. But the parents will have an opportunity to sign one out and they can have it for the summer and
I just, well, okay, we can talk about that. I just, it's that summer component of regression. And we have never, in my lifetime in education, we've never addressed the regression of a student in the summer.
we're concentrating really hard on K-5 this year.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kim. Motion, item number 5 on there, approve the minutes of the January 26th meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Burns makes the motion,
Second.
Wilson seconds. And I would assume that Martin will abstain because she doesn't know what we discussed last week.
Correct.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Takes us to item 6, administrative items. Is there any discussion?
Just a clarification.
Yeah.
If you look on B where it says delete the following policies, that doesn't mean that we're getting rid of those policies. That means the numbers are changing.
That's
what those
correct. The
policies
Yeah,
are.
we need-
Neola and the state have updated those and the numbers are changing.
So we need to
Yep.
just put that note in there.
Yep.
Numbers change.
We're not deleting those policies completely out of our book.
Any other discussion on administrative items? We got item F, which is the Duval building items. Paramount Builders is the general contractor.
They're about done.
If there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Snyder,
Second.
Martin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Finance section. Item 7. Any discussion?
Make a motion to approve.
Well, I got to
You got a
discuss for a
discussion?
second.
Okay.
Okay. I asked Mr. Lucas, on the finance, it was a situation where there was, you could pick just about any vendor, but I'll use Hager Supply. There was like 30, 20 different individual items on that particular day. And, I asked him about the question and he said, well, tell us about that.
So on the breakdown you have here of all the payments, it's every single individual payment. So if you look at Hager's and it's got 25 or 30 charges, most of them are small dollar amounts. The check date is going to be the same, but you might be paying 30 different invoices on that date with one check. So on the breakdown, you'll see, it's broken down in columns, check number, check date, who was written to, amount of check, and then the account title will tell you if it's maintenance or instruction or transportation or whatever. So there's multiple, That is most likely a couple purchase orders, maybe one, since it's a bunch of small purchases at the local supply store, but there's no purchase order information on this sheet.
My reason for asking that was making sure we're following the purchase order procedure and
Yeah.
got a purchase order on those things.
Yeah.
So, okay, I can rest easy on that. All right, thank you. Any other discussion on finance? Wilson makes the motion to approve.
Second.
Snyder's seconds.
I'll
All
abstain.
in favor, say aye.
I'll
Oh,
abstain. I'm sorry, I'm abstaining. I did not get to see this
okay,
at all.
Martin
until tonight.
abstains. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And 4-0. Under personnel, any discussion on personnel?
Well, on B, David, transfer of professional personnel. Bradley, of course, is the driver's ed health teacher at Lincoln County High School. And he's going to be moving February 7th to West Haviland Elementary Assistant Principal. Do we have a person to take his place?
We actually do.
Thank the good Lord.
We actually
That was
do.
my question.
Just to give you a little bit of background on it, we contacted Ollie Hunting,
Yeah,
and Ollie will do the driving portion only.
yes.
A substitute can do
The
the,
PE.
can do the PE,
Yeah.
can do the actual book work for driver's ed. Ollie will do the driver's portion because he's been trained.
Yes, okay, good, good. I was just worried about that.
Any other discussion on personnel? If not, a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Burns makes the motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Wilson seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's unanimous. Before we go into executive session for student and personnel discipline, we'll go down through the comments and concerns section.
Okay.
And first on the agenda is the Duval update.
How far do you want me to go?
I'd
It's an
like to
hour and a
build
half.
already.
Hour and a half.
The building is probably, I want to say by now, 40% down, thereabouts.
Everybody's on it.
And while this is being televised or broadcast here, bricks are being put out, and I'm gonna put this on Facebook too. Bricks are being put out on a daily basis, on a first come, first served basis. It would not be advantageous to say we're gonna put a pile of bricks out on Saturday. So they're being put out daily.
Mhm.
The one wing that runs perpendicular to the road, when they tear that down, there'll be a larger section of bricks go out at that point. But just please, don't go on the site. There's fence around there. Don't go on the fence. They're actually putting the bricks on the other side of the fence so people can get those. We just don't want anyone hurt. And when they're using those excavators and toppling those walls, things fly, and we just don't want anyone hurt. So bricks will be there. Just be patient. If they're not there when you get there, they're on a first come, first served basis, but there will be plenty coming around. We were fortunate enough to do a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get with the school building authority to grant us an additional $11.9 million to make the Duval project a go. The county, we have to come up with an additional $2 million on top of the 3 that we had. So we're still at about a 15% ratio, county funded versus school building authority funded. So the voting on this award tonight will give the architect an opportunity to send a proceed notice to the contractor. And the way the contractors are working, the building contractor can be working on one end of the property while the excavating and the destruction property can be going on the other side. So both entities could be working at the same time. The bid come back with an 810-day completion date, which puts us at the start of the 26-27 school year is when we should have those kids in that building. I was very grateful to the school building authority for them listening to us and agreeing with us that we need to get those kids in a building. And so that's where we are at this point. And there's progress keeps happening every day. Those guys are up there at Reclaim that are doing the demolition are doing a phenomenal job. They're keeping things pretty clean as they go. They're separating all the debris from the scrap metal and things of that nature, and they're really doing a good job on that. The site won't be recognizable here shortly because they're taking out from the one as you look where the greenhouse used to be, where that hill juts out, where there's an evergreen standing there, and that's where the larger section of the building will be. All the rest will be heading toward the old farmhouse. And they're cutting out, over 293,000 cubic yards of dirt out of that hillside. So that's a lot of earth moving. So we're just thrilled to have been able to get it approved, secure the funding, and now it's a go.
And we're in the right season, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
In the good weather here in about a month or so.
When will it start, do you know?
As soon as they give a notice to proceed, we'll have a pre-construction meeting and then they'll start. I'm going to guess, given when it is right now, probably March 1.
That's good. Good news.
Okay. All right, I've just got, any the other members got anything? I've got a couple of things here. We need to have on the agenda next week a item to select a vice president. Jody was, and he's gone. So we need to have a vice president to fill in my absence or whatever. We also need to have a representative selected for the Mountain State Consortium until, well, both of those will be until June the 30th. The new board will over at that time. We'll select the people. Track. Austin, do you have any idea when they're going to start putting the track down?
I don't have a specific date, but all I know is that we're first on the list. So as soon as we can get a break in the weather, I'm assuming they'll get the track surface down. A little disappointed that it didn't get done last fall, but just keep telling myself that it's paid for, it's gonna get done.
Yeah. We're going to be in track season soon.
We're hopeful that it'll be surfaced in time for track season. But it'll definitely be operational early spring, summer for sure, so. Assuming it'll be March, probably before they'll get to it, but I'll try to get an update from the company to provide you a better update.
Thank you.
All right, our request for additional funds to finish that facility over there is, what I understand, still on the governor's desk. It hasn't been
No.
decided. I was getting a little discouraged about it, but I've been told, hey, that's how things work. Don't worry about it. You're not out of the woods yet. So it's still a possibility to get that funding to finish that facility. We are faced with a problem. We need to start thinking about it. Amy's concession stand, football season's not that far away. And we last year she managed out of a loaner truck, I think, and a portable generator and didn't make a lot of money for athletic boosters. But that's a pressing problem. We got to have a contingency plan. So be thinking about what we need to do there. It may be a portable building and wire it, you put water in it and get it ready to go or something, but we can't leave her hanging out like we did last year.
Amy, is there no water in that at all, running water in that little concession stand place?
In the trailer that we were using?
Yeah,
No, as a matter of fact, the way that worked was we had to haul in,
Pauline,
a
yeah,
buckets or whatever and pour it into a reservoir, be able to use the same lieutenant.
yeah.
And then it has like an empty tank that you actually have to take it to like a septic disposal to do. The problem is that Carnivore has been closed for the last few weeks. And I've been seeing on Facebook, April's been using the trailer mobile. So we're not, there's
have
no
that.
possibility that could even be used this year.
Yeah.
I don't have a contingency plan. We don't have a concession. The first concession that we did over there was under a canopy. It was a madhouse.
Mhm. Outside, and everything coming.
And we didn't, after we brought the trailer in, the lighting, it was bad, there was no lighting, so we were using a work light or the lights on our cell phone. The generator wasn't big enough to actually run the trailer. I mean, we just had a lot of problems.
Yeah, it just didn't work, did it?
No, it did not, and to be honest with you, we went in the hole.
I suspect you did.
I do have enough money to pay for the, tunnel that the coach has found. It's gonna leave us with very little to start up the season, so we're gonna have to do some kind of fundraiser closer to season starting or sometime in the summer.
Have you worked with Miss Polly, the principal up there, to try to set up maybe even something this summer of, when the ball teams or the baseball's down there, that she might, help you a little bit out on things?
It would be very hard to run anything with with the youth leagues, having concession stands.
Yeah,
Baseball, softball has their own concessions. I don't want to tread on their,
yeah, but it's just getting tough to have anything for football if if we don't kind of have some plan in place.
Okay. We won't leave you hanging out this year. Okay?
appreciate it.
All right. One last thing, Mr. Barnett. Can we get the curriculum director, Joni Shortridge, to come by and talk to us about iReady in the month of February?
Mhm.
All the middle of the year testing should be completed by
Yep.
then. Okay. All right. Anybody got anything else?
I'm just glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
All right.
We're going to have on, aren't we?
If not, I'll ask for a motion and a second to adjourn until Tuesday, February.
we have executive
We have executive session.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we got to.
Forgot all about that. Yeah, well, just so you all know, we'll be meeting on February the 20th. We're going into executive session at this time. If I
I'll
can
make
get a
a
motion
motion.
and a second.
I'll second it. He made it. I'll make it.
Wilson motion,
I'll second.
Snyder second, and the time is 6:46.
Thank all you all for coming. Good to see smiling faces.
session. If I can have a motion in a second to return to regular session.
I'll make that motion.
Burns makes a motion,
Second.
Martin.
Martin seconds, and the time is 6:51. That may be the shortest executive session
Moved
we've
right
ever
along in
had.
that one.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right, item 10 is employee discipline, ratification of suspension of service employee. A motion and a second
So
to
moved.
ratify.
So moved.
Snyder makes the motion,
Second.
Wilson seconds. This is for a 2-day suspension of a service employee. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the employee is,
Timothy Hudson.
I'm sorry,
Timothy Hudson.
Timothy Hudson. All right. If there's nothing else, board, you got any other?
Do we need to make a motion to table item, 9?
Yes.
Yes.
I make a motion that we table item 9.
Second.
All the,
The student discipline
Yeah.
one.
student area? Okay. Motion to table the student discipline.
Mhm.
Wilson makes the motion.
Dana.
Snyder seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it is unanimous. All right, nothing else. I'll ask for a motion in a second to adjourn until Tuesday, February the 20th.
I move.
I'll second.
Martin, Burns, and the time is 6:52. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This meeting stands adjourned.
Frank and I-
Donna, welcome.
Thank